You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. That's what Oprah Winfrey wants her legacy to be. But guess what? It's not. It's not, Mrs. O. Because you were snookered by the biggest liars in history, and you're now trying to backtrack on those lies because you know that your reputation was shot the moment that you allowed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to try and bring down the British royal family with a tissue of untruths. This is absolutely fascinating. Oprah hasn't spoken about this interview. She hasn't dined out on it because she knows how bad it is. Until she sat down for a watch-along fest, a reaction fest with Vanity Fair overnight. And, of course, the you get a car was the thing she spoke about first, but then it came to Harry and Meghan, and her response is fascinating. First, she reveals the interview was postponed 3 times. She hit back at suggestions that the couple didn't know what they were going to be asked, but she then admitted that she had told Prince Harry and Meghan that this was all about a win-win. This is going to be good for you guys, and it's going to be good for me. So they sat down to film for the 3.5 hours, and Oprah thought that her career legacy was set. Instead, as we'll soon see, she's now desperately trying to explain why she encouraged Meghan Markle's lies rather than challenged them. We're going to get an amazing reaction today from royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz. But first, let's take a look at Oprah's rewriting of history. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You were just admitting that you wanted it to be a win. You weren't talking about it being a win for the truth or a win for journalism or a win for the British royal family. You were talking about it being a win for Harry and Meghan and for you. And achieving that win meant not reporting and not asking about a whole load of real stories. For example, the way that Meghan Markle had bullied staff within the palace, something I had been reporting on. So as Hans said, Oprah is clarifying her interview with Meghan today. Isn't Meghan calling the royals racists? Need clarifying and asking questions? You stayed silent then. Couldn't you ask follow-ups to clarify the curiosity about the baby's skin color versus it being racist? Isn't that the critical clip to clarify? And Queen Genevieve added, not good enough. Public apology at the very least, and to do so when Prince Philip was dying was disgusting. But before I get to some of the criticism that Oprah has now made of the way Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are dealing with life, I want to show you the key backtrack. And this is in regards to, and you know it's what went viral, you know it's what went around the world. Were you silenced or silenced? And Oprah is now trying to make this quite extraordinary argument. And I mean, I say extraordinary in the sense that it's totally not believable that this action was designed to push Meghan Markle into whether she was actually telling the truth. Now, Oprah, love, you've done this job for a very long time. You don't do that. What you say is you say, oh, wow, Meghan, who told you couldn't speak? We need the names. We've got to call these people out. When did they say that? Who are you referring to? Are you sure? Because, you know, the courtiers say they offered to help you and give you whatever you needed. But she didn't do that, did she? She made one movement with her finger to her mouth, and she now claims that that gives her some type of journalistic integrity. I don't think so, Opes. Watch. If you want more hard-hitting Harry and Meghan coverage like this with the double standards called out, hit subscribe right now and turn on the notifications. Dan Wootton Outspoken has no spin, no bias, and no censorship. Bullshit, Oprah. You've literally just said what you should have asked. Were people telling her not to talk? You didn't ask that. You didn't ask that. You played into a lie. And as a result, your legacy is now trashed, and you know it. Trash Panda asking, why do you think she's bringing this all up now? Stephanie Sidley replies, because Harry and Meghan are backpedaling on the racism claims. But the royal grift ain't happy. Maybe I should post the full unedited interview on X so we don't have a rewriting of history. Fuck you, Oprah. You knew what you were doing with this script. Assholes. And then comes the pushback against the way Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have lived their lives. Now, I want to set this up because when you first watch Oprah talking about this, you don't really know where she's going. But the point she is making, and you will see it come full circle, is that Harry and Meghan are fools when it comes to the way that they believe they deserve a particular type of privacy and a particular type of protection. Oprah is one of the most famous women in the world, and she understood that the privilege of that comes with a certain sacrifice too, but a sacrifice that a very rich and a very protected person can happily make. So as I say, Oprah's doing this cleverly. She's doing it subtly, but mark my words, this is Oprah Winfrey saying that the way Harry and Meghan live their lives is a total fallacy. Wow. We knew it was going to come. There is a reason Oprah Winfrey has not spoken about this interview in years. But royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz, to me, this feels like a moment because this interview was historic. Like it or not, it changed the course of royal history. It changed the course of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's lives. And those of us who knew at the time, like you did, that what Oprah Winfrey was actually allowing was propaganda to be broadcast around the world, lies to be broadcast around the world in an attempt to bring down the British royal family. At the time, we called her out. But she was surrounded, Tash, by so much noise and so much wokery and so many people patting her on the back and saying, oh, well done, you've just changed the royal family forever. What she didn't realize is that she hadn't done her job. But I think, Tash, as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been exposed on such a grand scale over such a lengthy period now, Oprah has had to backtrack. And I appreciate that it was subtle, but I think she's embarrassed. I think she's deeply, deeply embarrassed, and she wants to change the legacy of this interview.
Too late. Her journalistic integrity was absolutely shot to shit. It's the best way I can explain it. It was shocking. Even that bit, were you silent or were you silenced? For Meghan to say the latter, who silenced you? How did they silence you? Are you saying the royal family got an NDA? Did they threaten you? How could they stop you speaking? Because I tell you what, you didn't stop speaking the entire time you were in the royal family. So how is it they now managed to silence you? And the fact that she's trying to say that I was trying to make sure that there was clarification. There was no clarification.
No.
You didn't clarify anything. You just literally went along with her going, the latter. Moving on to the next subject. Well, how was she silenced? It's honestly, it's laughable. But when you think how long ago this is, it's best part 10 years. Let's be realistic here. And it's come at a time when Harry and Meghan are trying to gaslight the world that they want to come back. Harry wants to make up with his family. This is just all, for me, I'm just seeing this as one big attempt to gaslight the public so we forget everything they did. The only reason being they know that they will never be allowed to become working royals again, but they need to increase their royal relevancy. They need to increase their market value. So that means they have to get close to the royal family before they can create the next money spinner, the drama, more content, another book, whatever. But for Oprah, I mean, she's always been on the sidelines, helping Meghan, boosting Meghan. Some of the appearances we've seen with Meghan, the guests she had on her show for Netflix, Oprah has done the bare minimum, but she's still very much involved with trying to promote this couple. But I will say the bit where she turns around and says, if you want your privacy, here's a novel idea. Why don't you actually just stay indoors and not call the paps? That's pretty much what she was addressing there, but that was more directed at what Harry said, funnily enough. I mean, for all we know with this couple, Meghan's probably already sized up Oprah for a divorce interview, and that's why she hasn't said anything against Meghan, but she's implying, well, yeah, Harry, you can keep moaning about it, but blah. They're up to something. This is all part of a big game plan that's going on.
But Taz, she did admit quite a lot there, though, didn't she? Because no one who views themselves as any type of journalist, and I don't mean you necessarily have to be a trained journalist or anything like that, but just a seeker of the truth, no one goes into an interview telling the person who you're interviewing, oh, this is going to be a win-win. Don't worry. This is a win-win. That's a very different thing. That's PR. So she's admitted that she wasn't doing any type of journalistic investigation. She was doing PR.
Guide you.
It took over 5 years, but the narrative is officially crumbling. Oprah Winfrey, the woman who handed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle the ultimate global platform to tear down the British monarchy, is suddenly trying to rewrite history. Sitting down with Vanity Fair to review her most famous broadcasts, Oprah didn't double down with pride over her 2021 sit-down. Instead, she offered up wild excuses, awkward laughs, and a desperate defense of her journalistic integrity. She's claiming her infamous silent or silenced question was just for clarification. But when you look at what she actually said, and the subtle shade she threw at their Montecito lifestyle, it is clear, Mrs. O is officially in damage control mode. Let's look at how Oprah set up this look back. First, she made sure everyone knew the original interview was postponed 3 times because she was strictly isolating, boasting she didn't leave her home for 322 days. Was she setting up an excuse? Don't blame me, I was COVID crazy. But then came the real slip-up. Oprah openly admitted that before the cameras even rolled for that 3.5-hour sit-down, she made a promise to Harry and Meghan. She told them, I want this to be a win-win for you. Hold on. Since when does an independent, serious journalist go into a landmark, historic sit-down promising a win-win for the subjects? That isn't investigative journalism. That's public relations. When you promise a win-win, you promise not to push back. You promise not to bring up the palace workplace bullying allegations that were breaking right before the special aired. You promise to let wild accusations fly without asking for a single receipt. Then we get to the viral moment everyone remembers. Were you silent, or were you silenced? The latter. 4 years, media pundits hailed that clip as a masterclass in interviewing. But watching it back now, Oprah looks visibly uncomfortable. In Vanity Fair, she laughs it off, saying, I don't know where the hell that came from. I don't think I've done it since. She tried to reframe the entire moment, claiming she only asked it for clarification so people couldn't claim later that Meghan wasn't allowed to speak. If you were seeking clarification, why didn't you ask follow-up questions?
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's saying there. It's going to be a win-win. Don't you worry. You just say the stuff and I'll help lead you. That's why she didn't ask any of the questions. She knew exactly what she was doing in that. Oprah is not a stupid woman. It was designed to be that way. That's why she didn't push back on any of the questions. That's why when they said there was a member of the royal family that was racist, and they turned around and said, oh, we're not going to say who it is, because they knew that put a blanket accusation over every member of the royal family. Oprah should have said, is it one person? Is it a group of people? How many people were in the room? You don't have to tell me names, but at least we can do a little bit here of perhaps, what was that game? Guess Who when you were a kid? Slap down a few of the people that it wasn't. But she didn't. She helped Harry and Meghan by not asking any of the questions, by not doing any pushback. She helped do that propaganda. And for her saying it was going to be a win-win, yeah, because she was helping them.
Good, she totally was, because anytime she did even gently try to nudge, what happened? All of the stories collapsed. Like in terms of the racism accusation. Oh, so what? They said it to you. This is about Archie's skin color. Oh, no. It was to Harry. And you could see how uncomfortable Harry was. Well, at that point, Oprah had to realize, okay, I've been lied to as well. But actually, what matters more here is the truth. Because sure, these people might be my friends, but imagine the respect Oprah Winfrey would have had, Tash, if over the course of the interview, she had actually been able to expose what we very quickly did, which was that there was no conversation like that. There was no racist intent. And of course, Prince Harry has now himself admitted that in that interview with Tom Bradby, where he said, "Oh well, I know there's no racism because I was part of that family." Oh, and by the way, Meghan never said it; it was just the media who said it. So unfortunately, Oprah does need to do more. But I'm enjoying this, Tash. I'm enjoying this though because she cares about her legacy. This is what she's now most known for. It's not the interview with Michael Jackson anymore. It's this interview. It's not the you got a car anymore. It's this interview. And I think as the years go on, Tash, she's not going to be able to avoid it. And she probably will get to the point where she has to admit that, yes, I was misled. Yes, I trusted these people and I believed them because they were my friends. And yes, I should have done more. Because I think we're heading to that point. I think she's deeply mortified about it. And I think when she saw that, I could sense that she was uncomfortable. It was really interesting, wasn't it? Oh, I haven't done that since. That's not someone who's watching back a piece of work, Tash, that they're proud of. And also, it's almost like she was trying to suggest, well, I wasn't really in my right mind because I'd spent 323 days locked up at home.
I was a bit COVID crazy. That's why I did it. That's why I lost all my journalistic integrity. We were all COVID crazy at that point. That was a really shit excuse. But I honestly think when it comes to this interview, she was part of trying to help take down the monarchy. They knew they were lying. Oprah knew they were lying. You can't tell me that she didn't think that they were lying. You know, she didn't push back on any if the basic questions, you know. So it's really obvious that they were working together. But now that Oprah's doing this, you say it's because she wants to, you know, she's thinking of her legacy and she needs to get away from this interview. I mean, maybe there's just something else going on in the works, really, whereby Harry and Meghan have lost all of their value. If Meghan and Harry divorce, there is going to be warfare between the couple briefing against each other. And there's going to be more things that come out where it's going to be Oprah's going to get called into it because nothing will ever make sense with this couple, no matter what the story is. They've got 3 to 5 different versions of it. They never say the same thing, even between them in the same room. And that Harry said about the conversations, it was one person, one conversation privately with him. Meghan's like, it was multiple conversations and like she was involved in it. That was the same interview. Oprah didn't once turn around and say, well, your husband's got a different viewpoint on what actually happened. So, yeah, Oprah is trying to backpedal, but I still can't believe, would she really throw them under the bus completely and say, oh, they completely lied to me? I'm not so sure because Meghan still will be a cash cow when she decides to do the old divorce.
Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. I think you're right, Tash. Time will only tell, but I think actually for the moment you are right. And that's the reason she's just given her a few little nuggets here and there. Oh yeah, we'll put your shitty project in the Oprah magazine. You know,
I'll give you some people to bulk up your show.
Yeah, and that's basically a bit like with Netflix. It's like, okay, there might be a divorce coming here. That interview I want. And she would certainly be in it to win it. It is funny though, Tash, seeing how many others we going to over time have to watch rewrite history. Stephanie Sidley suggesting Tyler Perry will come out next and deny ever calling the royals racist, even though we have a clip of him saying that from the Netflix show. And it is interesting, isn't it? I think a lot of these high profile people who were used over that period, Tash, are going to start feeling increasingly embarrassed, especially, by the way, when you see in America the ongoing cachet of the British royal family, for example, looking at Taylor Swift's and relationship with Prince William and Catherine, and the fact that William appeared on the New Heights podcast. I think I'm not saying they're doing this altruistically. I think they're all doing it from a place of, oh God, we backed the wrong team.
Wrong horse. Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, the people that were, you know, really out there defending poor little Meghan, you know, you've got George Clooney, you've got, I think her name was Javina, she was someone, she was in a couple of things like True Blood and that. She was very vocal. She was on with Gayle King talking about the receipts that nobody has still to this day, 6-7 years later, has seen a single receipt. We've seen plenty of receipts where it's been proven Harry and Meghan have lied. We've seen plenty of receipts in court cases where Harry's emailing Jason Nuff saying, we need to cover it up that we gave this information to Finding Freedom. You know, we've seen plenty of receipts proving that Harry and Meghan are duplicitous liars and they are bullies to other people. But we are still yet to this day to see a single receipt that any member of the royal family did anything wrong to either one of them, you know? And yeah, and as for Harry, I mean, Oprah's got as much hope as dialing it back as Harry does. And for Harry, still trying to say, we never said the family was racist. They literally went and collected a Kennedy Award for fighting racism inside the royal family. You know, it's
go figure.
Gaslighting is out of control when it comes to those two.
When someone claims they were silenced by an institution, a real journalist asks, who silenced you? Did you sign an NDA? Was it a courtier or a member of the royal family? Oprah didn't ask a single one of those questions. She just nodded, said okay, and moved on. Claiming years later that it was just clarification is a total rewrite of history because the interview hasn't aged well. Now, this next part was subtle, but it was a masterclass in low-key shade aimed right at Montecito. While discussing the nature of fame and privacy, Oprah recalled living above the famous Marshall Field's department store in Chicago. She shared how she once tried to walk downstairs on a Saturday morning to grab a free Clinique makeup sample, only to get mobbed by fans at every turn. How foolish of me to think I could go out on a Saturday and not get stopped. My approach became, if you don't want to be bothered, stay home. If you want privacy, don't go out to public restaurants. Why bring that up while discussing Harry and Meghan? Because for years, the Sussexes have complained about media intrusion while simultaneously seeking out global press. Oprah, one of the most famous women on earth, just delivered a direct reality check. If you want privacy, you don't call the paps, you don't stream your life on Netflix, and you stay home. At the end of the day, Oprah Winfrey cares about one thing above all else, her legacy. For decades, her brand was built on charity, empowerment, and legendary TV moments. Today, whenever people bring up her biggest sit-downs, they think of the 2021 broadcast that aired unchecked claims against the monarchy. As Hollywood turns its back on the Sussexes, the high-profile figures who backed them early on are realizing they backed the wrong horse. Oprah isn't going to cut ties completely. She knows there could always be a divorce interview on the horizon, but these little comments prove the narrative has officially flipped. What do you think? Share your thought in the comments section and don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the notification bell for more royal updates the mainstream media won't tell you.